Visitors? You said something out there.
Yeah.
So unless you want to elaborate on it, or?
Well, I guess there are two things on your agenda tonight. Aside from approval of minutes and visitors, one of them is a resignation of Valerie Nye. And as I said in my email, I think it's a resignation from the wrong individual. I think when you look at the documentation I sent you, it's clear that you have an employee that's completely off the reservation, has been for some time. The consequences are losing not one but two people who I think the Democrats have valued, and even though I've not agreed with them on many occasions, they are people who, as Brad Sullivan would say, show up. And I think in Val's case did a lot more than show up. From what I can tell, I'd ask if there's been any response to it, to a subsequent FOIA from the letter that Brad had sent. And the information seems to be that there was no response to it, that it was just neglected, which seems to me like a pretty sad state. I just wondered, had the other members of the Board of Selectmen seen the letter from Brad Sullivan before I sent it out? You had seen the letter from Brad Sullivan before I sent it out?
I don't know if I sent it out.
I don't recall seeing it.
I saw it,
I think
because you said it.
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it also?
But I think the letter, I think it's serious when an employee starts to retaliate against a elected volunteer on the Board of Finance in some ways that I think there should be zero tolerance for that sort of thing. And I'd like to know why you're putting up with it.
No comment. It's a personnel issue. It's been dealt with.
I think it's a union thing.
There are levels of discipline within the union contract. This is her second offense. Based on that, and this letter went to our labor attorney, who I said, what can I do based on this letter? And he said, you can do this, that's all you can do. And so she is at the second level of discipline in the contract.
Did you respond to Mr. Sullivan?
No.
You don't think he deserves a response?
No. If Gabe wanted to respond, that's an attorney thing. Once we get a letter like this from an attorney, there's no response. It's between the attorneys. Right. At that point, I sent it to Labor Council. This is what should be done, based on it being the second time, and that's what was done.
Am I the only one that's disgusted by this?
I'm just curious, how come
I would privately, not by Willie. I didn't see it.
Typically, with employee issues like this, I don't send it to anybody.
I didn't see it through.
No, I don't send it to anybody. I know it got spread around though. Not any.
No.
So these are personnel issues that aren't subject to FOI. They're not.
It's just like you said, as soon as the attorneys, it's just like when you get.
Yeah, it's like when you get a lawsuit.
We're done with it. I mean, you can't even.
So
if he didn't send that, if Val sent it, or personally, then it would be different.
But you haven't been sued yet. There's no suit in place. So you can't say that there's litigation.
once there's an attorney involved, as he said, he represents, I represent, that's it.
If we did something wrong, you know,
Right.
who knows? We're not attorneys. Well, we have someone for it.
According to our labor attorney, there's no merit to anything that was said in that letter. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't think anybody's happy. Nobody's happy, and I don't think, I mean, like her policies or not.
If I could have done more, I would have done more, because it's not helping me. Believe me.
I said to her personally that I hope she doesn't.
And I talked to Val too.
And actually, it's been months since she thought about it, and I thought it was going to be a lot sooner. I mean, I think she's sat and thought about it. I mean, I talked to her personally, and I'm upset that she's leaving. I think I'm not saying I agree with her all the time, but she at least does her homework, and she's knowledgeable. And I think she, in her thoughts, she has the best for Clinton in her mind. So, I think, as for Brad leaving, I think he's been
wanting to go for
a while, and I think this just kind of works. That, you know, if I'm going to represent people in town, even if it's not this, it's hard being on a board.
So, got a letter of resignation from Val Nye. Motion to accept.
We haven't approved the minutes.
Oh, excuse me. Jesus, still visitors. Okay. Any other visitors? All right. Motion to approve minutes of August 26, 2015.
Make that motion.
Second on it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we have a letter of resignation from Val Nye. Motion to accept. It doesn't matter if we accept it or not, by the way. Once she turns it into the town clerk, it's a done deal, so this is formality. Second on that? Any discussion further?
I wish she wasn't going.
Me either.
I mean, I honestly heard, I went and talked to her personally and,
A lot of us have.
you know, and
I think it's not this group, it's not it's so much what the town was able to do as far as disciplinary thing, it's what the political group is what is really driving this now. The fact that the individual would step down out of the position that she's in, and nor was she being forced to take a step away aside. So I think that really, when it's one of your own coming after you, it's disheartening. So.
well, we're all really only Clinton. You know.
Huh? We are already, you know, I understand.
So, it didn't matter who she was or whatever. I agree with her. I don't think it should go just blown away, but I think there's procedure with, you know, with lawyers and the union. And, you know, we talked about
Three strikes and you're out. Basically, she's at number 2 right now.
Number one was what, the email situation?
Yeah, and not confident that there won't be a number 3.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hard for people to change at this stage of their lives.
Right. Okay, motion second, all in favor? Opposed, none, abstention, motion carried. All right, discussion of CEC. Carol wanted on, you got the ball.
Okay, well, we have a situation on the CEC where the committee is supposed to be comprised of 2 members of the Board of Finance, 2 members of the Board of Selectmen, and 3 at-large members from the community. Members that are not, may not be a member of any other board or commission who may submit requests to the Planning Commission. So right now, the Board of Finance has Dennis as a representative. And at the meeting last week, I questioned why Brad was still attending the Capital Expenditure meeting because he no longer represents the Board of Finance. And Mona requested to be placed on the CEC, and she was told she has to wait until she's appointed by
Correct.
the Board of Selectmen.
Correct. We appoint all boards and commissions in town.
Well, then we need to do that.
So here's the other,
Yeah.
we can also set the limits on how many members are on the board. So I would like to keep Brad on because of his institutional knowledge at this point, and add Owen.
You've already told Dennis he's going to be
And
added.
I would add him on after the election too, to keep him around. I don't think there's strength
It's
in numbers.
just too many. It's too many. It's honestly.
Brad wants to continue to serve. I mean, you guys are on with him. I mean, I'll leave it up to you and Lynn to,
The capital planning outline.
that's never been
The
adopted by
planning,
anybody.
yeah, it has.
By
It's June 10th. Oh, we can bring the original. This is a copy of the original document
And we
stating
can-
what the planning,
And
the
we
capital
can
expenditure committee
adjust.
Should I see the charter code?
We can.
Well, you know what,
sign
then
it.
I'm gonna resign because it's too much. There are too
Well,
many
I'm
people
just
and it's
asking, I just said to
just too
you,
much.
you guys can tell me if you want to keep Brad on or not.
Well, I agree with Carol, it's gonna get a little crazy if we have many more people, because everybody's starting to show up and
And
it's.
we should have 2 people from the Board of Finance.
Right.
Mhm.
So who, then, what do you think?
Well, Dennis isn't gonna be a member of the board.
I understand, but
of
he's,
Finance.
aren't you the?
Too
I would
much.
expand it to 8 people to keep Dennis on if we had to at that point.
Well, that would eliminate Brad.
Well, who's the
And
people,
bring
who's
in
the
Owen.
people at large?
Aman Singh, who frankly is a member, he is an appointed member of the Economic Development Commission, which has not, as of yet, submitted a request to CEC, so
If they
technically,
do, then he's got to get off.
they do, then.
Because we had a
they have to get
situation
off.
with a member of the police commission years
Right.
ago.
Right,
Then we had to have them
exact
get
same
off,
thing, she
right.
had to leave, and it was ugly. Steve Bug and,
Minor.
Minor, Vincent, are the 3 at-large at this moment. And it's Lynn and I and Dennis
Dennis and
and Brad. So at this moment in time, Brad does not represent anybody, but is attending the meetings.
Okay.
And
So
my
we need
opinion
another-
is that he should leave the committee and be replaced by the chair of the Board of Finance, who is Ona. It's so cumbersome. I think adding and adding and adding does not get us to where we.
I mean, how long has it been like this?
Correct.
You don't cut anybody any,
Well,
cut
it's
anybody
been
anybody
like
else comes
this
to me.
for 1 year.
You know, we couldn't get a quorum for years.
And now everybody's coming.
And now everybody's coming.
That's why Willie increased it
From 5 to 7.
from 5 to 7 about 2 years ago.
So-
Maybe 3 years ago, we had Matt do the
That's why I asked
decisions
how long
we
it's
had,
been.
because
Mhm.
we were only getting like 2 people showing up, 3 people showing up, Carol, myself, and maybe one other person, so we weren't having quotas. Well, he said, I'll fix that. I'll make it 7, and then we should be able to get at least 4 people out of the 7, which we have. And then all of a sudden, now that those at-larges have changed, with
They
Stephen
don't.
Bug, and well, of course, I'm on,
Well, but at this.
now
point,
everybody
we're
shows up, and it's great.
We're
I think it's fantastic.
We're at
And they all
7,
bring something to the
but
table.
Dennis, in November, when he leaves the Board of Finance, makes 8. And now you're talking about bringing Brad, that's 9.
Well, we could make it 9 if we wanted, but here's the thing.
I mean, I could live with the 9.
After the election,
I could
here's the
live
other
with
part.
that.
If any of us are around after the election, I think a lot of things could change too. Because if one of them's running for the planning and zoning board, if he's on the planning and zoning board, then he shouldn't be on the capital
That's
board.
a mock
That's a
again.
mock again. He's already in the EDC, which hasn't requested any money yet, but they may.
Yeah.
If they do, then he's got, so that could change after November. I'm
You
talking
should
about,
alert him to that.
okay, well, what about now though?
No, he's a valuable member.
No, do you people think, do you ladies that are on it right now, the representative selectmen feel that Brad should be off, and then owner should take his place?
Yes, I do. How can you not have the chair of the Board of Finance?
I think owner should be on it. I guess what I'm struggling with is should, after all this time of Brad being on it, should ask him to resign?
Well, he resigned from the Board of Finance,
Yeah.
so it kind of.
Who
I
is
think
he
he probably
representing?
He represented the public.
We've already got 3 representatives.
But he's got, again, I go back to,
And we
he's
are
got
going
the
to have 4
institutional
in
knowledge,
November.
him and Dennis are the ones that have been on the longest, they have the institutional
No, I've been
knowledge.
on longer than Brad.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I do. I've been on it forever.
I'm not sure.
Rosemary
It
put
was
me on
pretty
it
close.
a million years ago.
Very close.
Yeah. I've been on it longer than Brad.
You think 9 people's too much?
I could work with 9, only for, and it would give us a chance
If 9
also.
all show up, then it's gonna be a,
Well, then you need a new select person.
Well, when 7 showed up the other night, it was, for the first time, that was the first time that we had 7. And quite frankly, it was a very good meeting. I thought it was very, how about yourself,
It
man?
was a good meeting, yeah.
I mean, it didn't get too cumbersome. Everybody had a chance to ask their questions, and it wasn't any lengthier than normal. And
What would be the reason, okay, never mind.
What?
Because you want him on. That's the one reason for keeping Brad on is because you want him. And I'll tell you something. Yes, I admire Brad's contributions that he has made to the Capital Expenditure Committee. But I have to say, and I wish this wasn't on right now, but I have to say that Brad always finishes every year saying, we're denying our infrastructure, we're not funding capital expenditure. I mean, he's got this rant that he goes into that has no validity. We did not cut anything. I mean, we cut 1 police car last year. We gave the money to infrastructure. I don't think he's listening to what is going on. We didn't cut the Board of Education back to anything that even touched their baseline requests. I mean, I honestly don't think he's listening to the requests and evaluating them. I think we can do better. All right, I'm sorry, Brad. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, 1 vote out of 9 is less than 1 vote out of 7.
And he's been extremely insulting on the board too, to me personally. Telling me I hate kids and blah, blah, blah last year. Yeah. He made personal attacks towards me, which I did not appreciate in any way.
So here's what we need to do. We need a motion to keep the board as is configured, the structure of the board the same at 7, 2 finance members, 2 selectmen, and 3 members of the general public. At that point, all right, you make that motion. Somebody second. Start discussing on that.
I think it works.
All in favor of that? If there's no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, and then because of that, now we need a motion, because now we have 3 members of the general public that are already on it, and we need a motion to replace Brad with the chairman of the Board of Finance.
I make motion to replace Brad Sullivan
Or
with
another general public member,
the current chairman of the Board of Finance, Ellen Abel.
second on that.
Shouldn't you just say a person from the Board of Finance or?
It's gotta be the chair.
Okay,
The Board of Finance at their last meetings recommended Owen.
second.
Discussion.
That's what Brad is.
Who's gonna talk
Chair.
about?
Doesn't have to be the
That's
chair.
right?
No,
Just want to say
It
that.
just makes sense.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, it doesn't matter that it has to be the chair. It
I
could
wouldn't
be
care
any
who
2
the
members
chair
of the Board of
was.
Finance.
I would just want
That's
the
the way it
chair
was
there.
written.
It's got, that oversight
I
is
got
so critical.
That's fine, I'll tell them, that's fine. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, abstentions, and motion carried. That's it.